Hi everyone, welcome back. In this video, we are going to continue our conversation about solving rational equation. And as you can see here, in the previous video, we figure out we need to use LCD in order to solve this equation. So we are going to carry this idea again to solve a little bit different, a little bit complicated equation here. So as you can see here, this time we have x squared. So the degree is a little bit higher, right? But remember, the very first thing is always find LCD for all denominator. When I say all, that means we are going to examine all the denominators here. So in this case, we have x squared, we have 4x, we have 2x. Number-wise, we have invisible 1, 4, 2, so the better choice is, yes, you are correct, is 4. But for variable-wise, we have x squared, we have x, we have x. And in the previous video, actually first video, we mentioned x squared composed of x times x. So that means we need to change everything else by times x. So 4x squared is the LCD, which means we are going to change everything here to be 4x squared. Let's check. What do we need to do? As you can see here, we have 4x squared. So what do I need to multiply x squared in order to be 4x squared? Yes, you are correct. We multiply 4. Let's continue. And 4x, what do I need to multiply 4x in order to be 4x squared? Yes, we multiply x. And last part, we copy it down. 2x, what times 2x gives us to 4x squared? 2 times 2 is 4, and x times x gave us that. But do not forget, whatever you time on the bottom, we do the same thing on the top. Now, let's write down everything. So it's 4x squared. 15 times 4 is 60, minus 3x over this. And lastly, we just write down everything. Okay, now we have same denominator. We can just easily combine them. But do not forget, they are not like terms. Don't do anything together. And this. Okay, now, since we have the same denominator on the two sides, I'm going to multiply this so we don't need to deal with fractions. It's gone. Okay, now I just need to solve like a regular equation. We plus 2x plus 2x. And this is going to be 60 equals, plus 3x. So plus 3x, because we need to cancel 3x, right? So plus 3x is going to be 5x. And finally, we just divide by 5. So the answer is 12. Okay, see, it's not hard, right? We just need to find LCD, and then we change all denominator like we did in the past to LCD, because we need to change everything to be the same. That's how we can continue our operation between fractions. Okay, let's check the very last one. We are going to challenge ourselves today. Wow, it seems much longer, right? The bottom is a little bit complicated. So, but again, our idea will never change. The idea is always coming from find, sorry for that, my pen is not always working. Find LCD for all denominators. But again, actually, if you as long as you understand the logic behind this, you can always try to play with different ways. You can move items around. You can also working on one side first and then working on the other side. So it's really up to you. It's, there's a tons of ways to solve this type of equation. So you don't have to limit it to this way. If you prefer, for example, want to move 4 over x plus 1 to the other side, then play with it, go for it, try it. Because as long as you follow the same logic, use LC to deal with fractions, you will definitely get the right answer. Let me share with you my thinking process when I deal with this type of denominator. I see x minus 1, and as you can see, when you see x minus 1, do not treat them as, x as denominator, the minus 1. This is a whole groups. So suggestion is always put parentheses around this, so you know this is actually a whole group. And then x plus 1, I know another one, then another one is 2x plus 1. Remember, when we work on LCD, you want to find LCD to cover all the components you see. each part. So you consider each one is like a factor to your LCD. So I see x minus 1. I see another factor x plus 1. So for this one, I already have x plus 1. So I just need to add up 2. So this is our LCD, which means I'm going to work on each denominator, and then I change each denominator to be LCD, the one we just figured out. So let's work on each one. First of all, again, put parentheses around this. You know this is not separated term, it's one group. I compare this one to the LCD. I check which one is missing. See, they have x minus 1, but this one has x minus 1. They don't have 2, they don't have x plus 1, so I put them next to this. See that? And next, minus 4 over, again, put a parenthesis is always a good idea. And I check what missing. I have x plus 1, but I do not have the first 2. So that part I'm going to multiply so it can make up the same thing here. And I just continue. I copy down this. And for each one, I do the same thing. This one, I say, oh, I have 2 and x plus 1, but I do not have x minus 1. So I make it up. Okay, now, since I have the denominator is the same thing, I'm going to draw the big long fraction because they are able, now I'm able to combine them to work on the fractions. I know this is our LCD, I just write them out. And 3 times 2 here is 6x plus 1. 4 times 2 is 8x minus 1. Again, no matter how your LCD look like when you multiply them in a different order, it doesn't matter because according to the commutative property, we can change the order. And the other side, 1 times this is self, I just copied it down. When we have same denominator, we don't need to worry this anymore because I can just simply multiply them on 2 sides so I can cancel them out. Now I just need to copy the top part. And when we work on this, some students probably already figure out, wow, this is time to use distributive property. But be careful, the sign. So 6x plus 6 minus 8x, but negative 8 times negative 1 is 8. Do not forget this. It's very important. And then equal x minus 1. Some students probably want to move the variables around to figure out the answer. That's fine. But personally, I prefer to figure out the like terms. So I'm going to combine like term first. And then I can just move on. Okay, so it is 6 minus 8, negative 2x plus 14 equal x minus 1. And now I can just solve like a regular equation. Plus 2x on 2 sides. Now it's canceled, so it's 14. Let's move on here. Equal 3x minus 1. Then we're plus 1 on both sides. So it's 3x equal 15. I divide by 3 like we usually solve equations, so x is 5. Okay, see? Seems complicated, but it's not that hard. All we need to do, find out LCD and change each denominator accordingly. And then we just solve like a regular equation. I hope this video is helpful and you enjoy this process to solve this equation. And it's always a good practice to keep practicing this question so you can totally master them, okay? Thank you so much for watching. See you soon, everyone.